COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting economic recession have negatively affected many people's mental health and created new barriers for people that were already suffering from mental illness. Due to worry, the pandemic has affected thousands of people who are either sick or are being killed due to the spread of this disease. This, being a new viral disease affecting humans for the first time, but sad to say, vaccines are not yet available. There's some reason why COVID-19 affect our health condition. First is challenges in the diagnosis, quarantine, and treatment of suspected or confirmed cases. Second, high burden of the functioning of the existing medical system. Third, patients with disorder and health problems are getting neglected. Fourth, overload on doctors. And lastly, disruption of medical supply chain. So before I end this video, I want to tell you that everyone should wash your hands, avoid close contact, close your mouth, cover cough and sneezes, clean and disinfect, monitor your health daily. Those are the best way to prevent illness and to avoid being exposed.
So let's talk about the Philippines economy during this pandemic. As we all know, Philippines was the world's 33rd largest economy, but because of this pandemic, Philippines economy shrunk by 8.3% by the first quarter of 2020. So what was the reason of the sudden decrease of our rate? It is the pandemic that we are facing right now. COVID-19 has affected a lot of businesses and resources that causes the shrinking of our economy. In the first quarter of 2020, government decided to put NCR on a enhanced community quarantine or a lockdown, which leaves the business owners the move people because there is no point in opening some businesses because there will be no customer or there will be no income. This pandemic has affected everyone, especially with food resources and income. The unemployment rate has risen because, like what I've said earlier, some business owner or some businesses decided to cut out people and remove workers because there will be no income anymore. Very hard, especially to those owners who was leaning on their business for their daily lives. It was devastating, especially when I see news about people suffering because of their work or even their income. So we can see in the news that there are people who took their lives because they can't take it anymore. They can provide food for their family. They can earn an income because some businesses are closed. After the Philippines economy, we'll talk about the education system. I know that we are all having a hard time coping up with the new normal. What more to people who are not ready with it? What I am trying to say is that there are people who doesn't have the privilege, the money to have an access to this academic system that we are facing right now. So there are lots of people who doesn't have the privilege, who can't cope up because of the poverty, mental breakdown, and lack of sources. We are all not ready with this. Students who are having a mental breakdown, we can see that there are people who are having difficulties with connection because, as we all know, Philippines has the poorest connection, and we all can agree with that. There are also teachers who are not that techy. There are teachers that they prefer teaching in classroom or writing their notes, not using technical stuffs. There are also people who don't have the money, like what I've said earlier, the privilege. And what is worse is there are people who are taking their lives. They can't take it anymore. They can answer everything in the module, which leads them to the point that they're taking their lives. There are two campaigns that are being discussed in the internet, the hashtag academic freeze and hashtag Ligtas Balik Eskwela. I think Ligtas Balik Eskwela was better than the academic freeze because When we say academic freeze, it means that schools will be closed. So the teachers, the workers, the janitors, the facilitators, the officers will have to stay at their home and there will be no income. So when we say ligtas balik eskwela, there will be precautions, there will be safety measures, and there will also be an income for our workers. So I think that Ligtas Balik Eskwela will be better because this will provide our beloved teachers and workers income survival. When DepEd said that we are all ready, my thought was like, who were they talking about? Everyone was not ready for it.
I will discuss the effects of COVID-19 on religion and family. The number of people who go to church becomes limited since the government enforced that social distancing should be followed. Other than that, people are afraid to go outside of their home because of the threat of COVID-19. Many people prefer to stay in their home and avoid interacting with other people since it lessens the risk of being infected by the virus. Of this, most churches and other religious organizations close to the public. They have offered worship through live stream, drive-in worship services, and suspended pilgrimage trip. We know that many religious tradition requires social gathering and communal prayer during the key events in the whole calendar. This has caused serious tension between religious and civic authorities. Some have decried government limits on religious freedom, while others have blamed religious groups for spreading the coronavirus or demonstrating increased risk of religious extremism. The coronavirus pandemic has made an impact to everyone, including to our family. With the schools closed, parents are solely responsible for childcare and perhaps even homeschooling. Yet many parents are also working their paid jobs from home. Some parents have heightened financial concerns due to losing their job. The new normal has been challenging for everyone. An unpredictable social and economic environment is likely to provoke and increase anxiety. The feelings of hopelessness and despair can lead to ruptured relationships and abusive behaviors. That is why it is important to strengthen the bonds between the family members. This will help them to build hope so that they will be able to overcome the challenges that they are facing. That would be all for religion and family.